And this is Milk, which is out in the theaters now. So.
Pay your $12. We need to
Yeah.
the box office.
See it twice.
You'll love it.
I've seen it 4 times.
It's really good.
My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you.
If homosexuals are allowed their civil rights, then so would prostitutes or thieves or anyone else.
40 years old, and I haven't done a thing.
I'm not going to be forced out of San Francisco by social deviants and incorrigibles.
We need one of our own in office. We could have a revolution here. I don't do losing. There she is, our new campaign manager.
You're all scared of girls.
You'll be the first openly gay man elected to major office.
It's like you're part of the machine now.
Society can't exist without the family.
We're not against that.
Can 2 men reproduce?
No, but God knows we keep trying.
If these people are going to live a life of such open homosexuality, they are going to be removed from their jobs.
We're going to beat this thing. We need everyone.
We lose this, we'll have anti-gay laws in all 50 states.
You're not like most homosexuals, Ione.
Do you know a lot of homosexuals, Dad? Harvey Milk will be stabbed and have a night of horror. Call them police. They probably wrote it.
You have an issue.
It's more than an issue. This is our lives we're fighting for.
You get the first bullet the minute you stand at the microphone.
You don't have to go up there.
All men are created equal. No matter how hard you try, you can never erase those words. That is what America is!
I want you to know I'm proud of you. Without hope, life is not worth living. You've got to give them hope. You've got to give them hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, powerful trailer.
Powerful trailers you watched.
Yeah.
Beautiful movie. Josh Brolin. The whole dynamic between Sean Penn and Josh Brolin, between Harvey Milk and Dan White, was gripping throughout the whole movie. They almost, I thought at the first part of the movie, I thought there was a chance they could almost have one of those strange political rivalries where they were sort of friends, but still were on opposite sides of the aisle. What happened? How did it turn into like a brutal...
Well, I think, Dan White, he was elected from this very conservative neighborhood, and probably just wasn't ready for it. He had been a failed policeman. He'd been a failed firefighter, but he was sort of the darling of this sort of Irish Catholic neighborhood, and they basically kind of pushed him into it. And he was elected at the same time Harvey Milk was, and who was going to compete with Harvey? I mean, I think that's what it was. It's
incredibly charismatic.
Yeah, he at the beginning saw himself as, they were both recently elected, were equals, and then, Harvey was just a dazzler. I mean, he was a master of the media, and eventually Dan really, you can see in the movie, really felt like he was getting left behind, and that he just didn't, have the I don't know, like the charisma or the
Gilbert,
ability.
You lived in San Francisco at that time.
Well, that's true.
Did you ever run into, I was going to say Josh Brolin. No, did you ever run into...
He ran into Josh Brolin.
Did you ever run into Dan White?
Yes. The truth is that the movie kind of hints at it, but you have to think of the sexual revolution in 1978, and that San Francisco and New York and Los Angeles were really these meccas where people were bailing from all over the country and all over the world. Hundreds of thousands of people moved there in just a short period of time, and Harvey was one of them, and then became a leader, if you will. But that really did not sit well with people who, for generations, the Irish in particular, and the Italians in San Francisco, and certainly with the police department. And then, it was also the time of women's empowerment. There were women finally, suing to be on the police force, and even then they weren't, and the fire department. So there was a great deal of tension between the emerging,
old school,
between the gay community, which was really, blossoming and exploding, and the old, the old establishment San Francisco. And I think a lot of it was economic. I think people like Dan White looked at, gay people being, this affluent class moving in, taking over neighborhoods, gentrification, that whole word came from that time, and really, really deeply resented that. And in Dan's case, I think he really had obviously some other psychological issues, and there was this sort of sexual tension. The guy was hot, and they picked the right actor for this role. Dan White was a hot
The casting was pretty amazing.
In real life, Dan White was hot. We saw pictures of him. He was gorgeous.
I think Gilbert will recall, I wish I had the picture here, it never showed up in the movie, but somebody unearthed this photo of Dan White shirtless doing this whole cheesecake, muscle buff, gay photo. That, I mean, and like we put it up and people just couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it was real. It was him. I wish I had it to show you, but it was like, okay.
Sean Penn, I mean, acting as Harvey Milk, mentions throughout the movie that he always thought there was some sexual tension going on, that he
hints at
might have been gay himself, or it was in the closet, and he felt sorry for him. That's why he bothered to go to his child's christening. And it turned out he was the only council or alderman, I guess they call it, supervisor who went to his christening.
Oh, we have a phone call, Paul.
Oh, okay, let's give it a shot.
It is.
All right.
Hello, you're on.
Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I have a quick question. Actually, I have a quick question. I hope you will answer it.
Go ahead.
Two quick questions. Have you ever noticed, this is serious, that there is not a single Muslim country with a gay parade or gay rights, but more importantly, in the fact that the West is absolutely collapsing. We have zero birth rates in every European country and gay rights. How are we to survive as a people when we have zero birth rates all across Europe? And I'm serious. I'm not against gay people, but when we are dying as a people, as a civilization,
let us answer. We're going to answer.
And the best-looking guys are gay. What are the women supposed to do?
We're going to answer. Go ahead. Nobody's going to cut you off. We're going to answer.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to know.
Okay.
First, birth rates in the United States are up, by the way. I don't know if you read that recently. I know in Europe they're still sort of leveled off. I was really pleased to read that there's going to be the first gay rights march in, is it Hong Kong?
It just happened.
Just happened. Okay. So they're trying to have them. I know it's not happening in Muslim countries, and the oppression there is publicly pretty horrible, but the surprising part is that in the underground on the internet, there's quite a thriving gay communications in Iran, in Iraq, other places.
Actually, just open any history book.
One more quick question, please, to follow up, because I agree with what he just said. Here's the thing, though. In Europe, which they're already calling Arabia, you have Muslim majorities now. I'm not kidding. They're calling it Londonstead. You have 60% in Rotterdam Muslim population. Okay, what I'm saying is they are turning back gay marriage laws in Europe. The Muslims are turning back. There are parts in France where they've turned it back. What I'm saying is this: in the future, what will happen in the future?
We're going to let you on, but we're going to answer it first. Okay.
Gilbert, go ahead.
Gilbert.
Do you know of any gay marriage or gay rights laws that have been repealed in Europe?
Well, France is its own particular thing. Let me just say that about France. And he is right. There is a very big Islamic culture in France, and it's prevalent everywhere in Europe. In fact, America, has a big Islamic culture, even right here in New York and many, many cities.
Absolutely.
So that's a little bit of a mythology. The truth is that religion, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, do oppress homosexuals.
Right.
And in the case of Islam, where they have theocracies, they're actually, the church is the government, and in cases like Iran and Saudi Arabia, other countries, it is really hard for homosexuals. However, it doesn't mean that we're not there. It doesn't mean that we don't exist. And I really want to take issue with this sort of idea that Islam is taking over the West. That's so not true. I've spent plenty of time in Europe, and there's a thriving Islamic culture in Stockholm, and we have nothing to fear from Islam. We have everything to fear from hate mongers. And they're in every religion, not just Islam.